Hey y'all, this is Marley K. I just wanted to make a video um, because I have some things that have like really been bothering me, so I want to talk about them. And I realized that I write a lot, but I also realized that a lot of people don't or can't read my work. So there are a lot of things that are going on in our community, in our collective, that I want to just briefly touch on. Um, Especially as it relates to politics. And one of the things that is happening right now is that, like, we are finding out we are not a monolith, and that is okay. We don't have to agree on political ideology, strategies, what have you. Um, I'm all for let people do whatever they are going to do as long as it does not harm me. But when you start harming me, I have to protect myself. And so that is where I am right now when it comes to, you know, my political ideology. My political ideology is, I'm no longer really concerned about anything except for being black first. I'm black first. I have to be that because when I go outside every day, outside of clothes, my skin dictates everything, how I'm treated, where I can and cannot go, how I'm received, I'm judged by the color of my skin. And so I'm a complete fool if I ignore that and follow whatever political ideology somebody has or has packaged and told me this is what I need to care about. You know, Black people are on fire in America, and we're at a place where we are getting ready to go through some things. And if you live in the South and you are old enough to understand what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. You know this vibe that's in the air. It's spiritual. You can look around, you can sense what is happening, and we can sit around and ignore what is happening right now and listen to other people say, "Oh, you need to save us." I saw a news piece where Jonathan K. Party on MSNBC was like, Black women need to save America again. No, the fuck we do not. We need to save our own ass. I'm saving my ass. America does not do anything to save us. So why are you calling on me or my sisters who are busy working hard, doing everything they can to survive everything else, to go vote, and then when you go vote you get nothing in return for your vote except for a good feeling and a sticker? No, I'm not prescribing to that anymore, and I'm not advising anybody to do that. Now, people have the right to do whatever they want to do. I'm not telling people not to vote. I'm not telling people to vote. I'm not telling people who to vote for. What I want to do is provide strategies on how to navigate this period that we're in, because what is happening is that we're living like the end of a Reconstruction era. Is kind of like, I would say, the compromise of 1877, when the Democrats basically cowered to the Republicans and let them institute Jim Crow so they can get whatever legislation they wanted to pass. So you kind of see the same thing happening now with all the Kirsten Sinema, Joe Manchin, Joe Biden. Basically, white people have the liberty to determine whether or not we are free, whether or not we have rights, which rights we have. And so, last election cycle, it was vote, 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 get out the vote, vote blue no matter what. And then we did that. And guess what? All year long, we've been getting stabbed in the back. If, like, we asked to be stabbed in the back. I thought our backs were supposed to be had. No, the backs ain't got. The backs are bleeding out, And Black people are sitting around watching everybody else have legislation, have things that they either, advocated for, or groups that co-opted, our movements receive legislation, and we did not. And so what Black people have to recognize right now is that it's a divide and conquer strategy going on. And they want us, we have been so willing to give away our vote for nothing. And so just in debt to an ideology that doesn't give us anything tangible in return. That like we're in this position where we don't really have any tools or anything to fight with. And so I'm just really concerned for us. And so I'm a spiritual person. I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. And it just keeps me up because I don't know what is going to happen if we don't get some type of organization in some way to organize to be able to deal with all these attacks. We're getting attacked, inside of the country, from outside of the country. Our own people bash us for our own decisions, choices we make. And, I don't care what people say or think about me. I'm not here to call out people and talk about what, people say or who they vote for, whatever. I stick strictly to what I see: policy, legislation, appropriation, law, and go from there. And when you see injustice, you speak out on it. That's what I've typically done. And now up is down, down is up, right is wrong, wrong is right. And if you oppose even your own people with just good common sense and logic, white supremacy, we are so entrenched in white supremacy that we can hardly make any decisions for ourselves without basically white people being in our business. And when I say white people, not white people literally, but white supremacy. The system of white supremacy is in everything. And you think you're making this decision because you came up with the idea. No, you made a decision because white supremacy said this is what you need to be thinking about. This is what you need to care about. This is what is important for you. This is what is good for your community. And none of that shit is good for our community. And I could just go down the list of things that are wrong and things that we should care about and why. But I'm not going to do it on this video. But I am going to spend this election cycle talking to my people about understanding policy, understanding legislation, how to read those bills, words. Words are really important, and we need to understand when we say things and when we repeat things that the dominant society has placed in our path for us to pick up and speak. We are doing their work, and we are dividing ourselves and attaching ourselves to their policy, systems, legislation, and things that are not going to benefit us, but they need our votes and our numbers to help them stay in power. So basically, Black people are used to keep white people in power, and that just cannot be anymore. If they're going to be in power anyway, they're going to have to do it without my help. That's how I feel about it. I'm not saying break the law or do anything like that. I would never say anything like that. But I'm just saying there are some things that we can opt out of, that we should opt out of, to make a point that we are not pawns. This politics of fear. I wrote a piece a couple of days ago about the way that the Democratic Party uses a Southern strategy style political strategy on Black people, and it's the same thing in politics of fear, but their politics is they have different strategies for different groups. For us, it's always fear, and if we do this thing, we're going to be spared from this bad thing. But we don't, there's never anything how we can just be healthy or be whole if we support these people. Now, everybody else can have legislation approved or have a strategy or have a plan or lobby for what they want except for us. We have to be lumped in a group with other people. And I'm glad that Black people are finally starting to talk about it and break away from this idea that we're a monolith. We're not a monolith. You know, Black people are not the same. Black people come from all over the world, and there's a lot of Black people that love white supremacy. So a lot of Black people don't know the difference between white supremacy and anti-racism, anti-white supremacy. There are a lot of people who don't understand that they are oppressed, and they don't know what that oppression looks like. You know, it starts with our mind, and the fact that a lot of us can't think and process for ourselves is very problematic. It is going to be a huge barrier to us politically in 2022 and 2024. You know, from my perspective, whatever's set in place is already in place. No matter how we vote, the deal has been done. You know, whatever is going to happen, it's not really it's going to impact white people some, but it's going to impact us the most. And it's always been like that throughout history. So we have to prepare ourselves for what is getting ready to come. There's no need for us to think that somebody's going to save us. Nobody's going to save us. The people with the power looking for the people without power to save them. Think about that. That don't even make any sense. And then when we do support the Democrats, they don't even have the power or the energy, or they claim they don't have the power or energy to push through and protect us. Like, we should be the number one people they protect, because we have been their base for so long, but they don't see us that way. They see us as workhorses. We are the wet nurses and mammies for the party, especially Black women. And when we go to vote, that's what we're voting for: white power. I don't even care if you're voting for a Black person. You are voting for white power. When the Black person gets elected, if they go to Congress, you know what they do? They go do white people's business. They don't do our business. You can't even have a Black agenda. We've had two. We've had a Black president and a Black vice president. And you see what they tell you when you ask for something for Black people. They can't do nothing for Black people, but they can manage to do something for everybody else except for Black people. And, you know, with that, you always have to look for the proximity to whiteness. And I'm not really going to go into that right now because that's not the purpose of this video. But we're going to talk about looking at the proximity of whiteness to whoever the Black person is. Because a lot of times you see these Black people, you know, advocating for specific political parties. They are doing so because they have a proximity to whiteness, or there's something that they are getting that is tangible in order for them to be spouting out that bullshit. So it could be a paycheck, it could be a position. You know, you see these people in the mainstream media, you go look at them, look at the spouses, look at where they came from, look at, you know, where they worked at in the past, who they're connected to. You see that there is no such thing as people just accidentally pop up and they're Black and they're there to talk to us. They're there not for us. They're there for the benefit of white people. And we just kind of get an indirect benefit by having a Black face in the space, but it's not for us. And so, you know, one thing that Black people are going to have to do or learn how to do is vet Black people. You're going to have to learn how to follow the money. You're going to have to learn how to follow connections, look at everything, because we have a lot of Black people in our community that are misleading us right now. And they've been doing it for a long time, and we've just been following. But now people are starting to wake up and see that, hey, wait a minute, I voted for so-and-so and I didn't get nothing. And they said they didn't have nothing, they couldn't do anything for me, but they can do something for this group, this group, this group, this group. This group already get benefits. Why is this group getting anything? Because they're not even citizens. People are starting to wake up. and it doesn't matter that it's a plan. Sometimes it's the audacity that they would even think to do it without, atoning for the sins committed against African Americans, descendants of slaves, foundational Black Americans. And so we have to push back. This is a time. This is a time that we have to push back, and I'm just adamant about it. It don't have anything to do with hating white people. Because I'm Black, and I have to protect my own ass. I have to protect my grandchildren. I have to protect my sons. My father is an older person. I have to fight for him. He's doing his thing, and he's put things in me with the expectation that I'm going to carry on the legacy of fighting for Black people. And so that is what I'm doing, and I'm using what I've learned over the last couple of years to be able to do that. But I don't think we are all on one page. We are kind of all scattered over the place. People are like afraid to talk because you're getting beat down by people who with different political ideologies, or people who understand the game, and the game is to game Black people, whatever. But I just want to say that it is okay to oppose. You don't have to go along to get along with people. You don't have to be afraid. We shouldn't vote or make political decisions out of fear, because politics is business. Period. It ain't about feelings. It's not about seeing your person win. It is about business. In exchange for your vote, what are you getting in return for it? It's like going to the store and buying a pack of candy. You exchange that money, that currency, for the thing that you want, and then you leave. You got what you wanted. The store got what they wanted. The transaction is complete. Everybody's content. It's business. Think of politics the same way. When you see something that you want, or there's something wrong in your community, and you bring it to the attention of the politicians, or you have an expectation, or they promise you, you negotiate, and that thing is supposed to happen. You promise that person, I'll give you my vote if you do this thing for me. They say, yeah, okay, I'm going to do that. Then you expect that to happen. When that doesn't happen, there's supposed to be some type of repercussion. If you go to a restaurant and you buy a bad, sandwich or cold French fries or whatever, you take that stuff back to the store and you get something, and you get it replaced, or you get a refund. Well, you can't do that when you vote. You vote for somebody with good faith and on good faith, and then they don't do what they are supposed to do. Well, they're still in power. They still get their salary. They give you the middle finger, and then you don't get anything. You have to wait until the term is up to try to get them out of office. Well, we haven't even been able to do that, or unwilling to do that. And when you let people stay in power, they feel like, especially when they haven't done anything for you, they feel like you don't care. It's okay to abuse you, and you just gonna be okay with it. And that's what Black people have done. We have to own that. We have to take responsibility for that. And people are not accustomed to us pushing back. People are not accustomed to us talking back and being verbal. They don't like that. And America has a history of Black people not really wanting to talk because they fear, if we get angry, we're gonna do stuff to them. Well, we don't want to do nothing to nobody. We just want y'all to leave us alone, and either treat us with respect or leave us alone. Give us what we're entitled to, and allow us to work and do what other groups do in this country, or just leave us alone and don't ask us for anything. And those two things are conflicts. So it's not that we are bots. We are not misinformed. We just tired of bullshit, and we ain't taking it anymore. And people should respect that. Power sees nothing without a fight. And so right now, Black people are in a struggle for power. We don't have any. We have very little currency in this system, and that was by design. So we are in a fight of our lives trying to survive and accrue power. So there's nothing wrong with that. Black people have to become comfortable with fighting, and that's something that we have not really been good at, in part because we have a history with this country that abuses us and oppresses us, even if we protest or complain peacefully. And then we have, like Dr. King talked about, the respectable Negroes who are respectable blacks now, because we ain't Negroes anymore, but the respectable black people who may be liberal or moderate or maybe conservative and they vote Democrat, but they mislead us. And I kind of hate to bash our civil rights leaders, because people are doing the best that they can, trying to figure out which way to take us and what's going to be best for us. But there has been this long struggle over the last 100 years of class issues between black people and poor black people and educated boule or politically connected black people. And there's a difference. I live in the South. I'm a country girl, and I lived through Jim Crow. My dad lived through Jim Crow. My mom lived through Jim Crow. My great grandfather was a sharecropper. So my family's history with this country taught me a lot about what happens over time. And we've had pockets of peace, but we've also always had to deal with racial inequity. Just because we're black, we've always had to deal with people treating us differently, not giving us what we're supposed to be entitled to, inferior education, always trying to figure out ways to get the best for our kids. Like, we shouldn't have to do that, but we do have to do that. And we have to do that because we live in a system that tolerates and condones and enables it. And so what we are opposed to are those things. And we want to hold people accountable. If you ask us for something, we want something in return. Don't come to me like I am a booty call, a side piece, asking me for my stuff, and then you don't have nothing for me. You just get up after you get what you want and leave, and I don't see you again. That's abuse. And we have been tolerating that for quite some time. So when you decide you don't want to be the side piece no more, of course the person gets mad because you don't want to be a side piece and be used anymore. But that's what's happening with us. Black people are waking up because we don't want to be the side pieces and the booty calls anymore. We don't want to keep saving you because you need something. And then when you turn around, we get nothing from it. We had a good time, but that's it. The person who's using is happy because guess what? They got to use you again. Black people are tired of that, and you have to respect that. I respect that. I respect people defending themselves and protecting themselves. That's nature. That's law, natural law, the order of things. You look outside. I love being outdoors. If you watch animals be fighting. Animals don't just be sitting around sharing stuff. Animals not going to let you come into their territory where their babies are. Animals will fight you about food. Birds fight. Alligators fight. Snakes fight. Everything. Dogs fight. Protect their territory, protect their people. Fighting is a natural thing for people to do to protect themselves. And so black people do not need to be made to feel crazy for opposing tyranny, for opposing how we're treated. Like, that's natural. When you see somebody mistreating you, you're supposed to speak out on it. You're supposed to not be happy about it. You're supposed to defend yourself. It's like being in a relationship with someone who takes your money. You go to work every day. You sleep in the bed with this person. You go to work every day. You come home Friday on payday. That person takes your money out your pocketbook, goes and give it to the side piece. Have a good time. Come home. You don't have any money. You have nothing to show for being in a relationship with this person. The side piece got all your stuff. That is the equivalent of what has happened to Black people. When it comes to our votes, and especially with the Democratic Party. So yes, people are afraid because they need us. They need our votes. And so if we decide that we're not going to vote for them, then that's problematic. That means they're going to lose. But if they're not offering us anything, why should we vote for them? And instead of them saying, hey, well, white people, y'all need to get y'all asses to come on, they are going to attack us. And they're going to not just attack us online, on television. They're going to use other Black people who are their, gatekeepers and surrogates to attack us. So what we need to do is make sure that we are prepared psychologically, because this is like psychological warfare, part of it. You need to be prepared emotionally, because people are going to say things and do things that are like real foul and inappropriate. Grow some thick skin, because this is going to be a tough season. And I'm calling it the season of sacrifice, because in order for us to preserve ourselves and build our collective, those of us who are Black first and all about protecting Black people, we are going to have to go through a season of sacrifice. And as we go through that season, you're going to have people that turn on you. You're going to have people that question you, people that ask you, are you a part of a conspiracy theory group or some crap? No, you're just tired of bullshit. I don't understand why that's so hard for people to understand, but people are tired of bullshit. And so you should just, be able to say that. But unfortunately, we can't. And so I just wanted to make a video to talk about, like, I don't even understand the pushback from people just questioning why Black people are tired. And if you interpret what you're getting differently than I interpret what I'm getting from our system, that's cool. I'm not bashing you. I rock with my people. But you're not gonna make me feel like I'm confused and crazy, because I can see and hear what's happening, and I know, there's no benefit in any of this for us. So I'm just calling it out. And then, oh, you're anti, you're conspiracy theory. Nah, I don't like bullshit. I've always been like that. And I don't bite my tongue. So people don't like that. And, people who move because they're afraid, that's on them. I don't move like that. I'm not afraid. I know the law. I can read. I know things that people typically don't really get into, because I read a lot. And plus, part of what I've always done, I've been a fundraiser for like nonprofit organizations, so I know how to find money and trace money and see who's tied to what. And so I follow money. I follow records, I read, I connect the dots. And so, if you follow me over the next, 3 years, that's what I'm going to teach you how to do that. Because people are going to accuse you of being a bot, of being, a part of something that's misinforming people. No, you're just tired, and maybe you don't have the right words to communicate what's wrong or what you see wrong, because in white supremacy in the dominant society, they like words. And so, for a lot of us, we don't have the language to convey our displeasure or what's wrong in a way that makes white supremacy be like, we got busted. We use acronyms and code words and things, and people are like, oh, they just, this time we gonna do something different. And I'm gonna teach people who follow me the language to use to combat white supremacy, especially on social media, because on social media, a lot of times we bicker and argue with each other about things that really are not important. For me, if it's not about white supremacy, it doesn't matter. So I'm not arguing with Black people about something that I disagree with, or if I have a different take of something. I'm gonna add to it, and I'm gonna tell you, yeah, you're absolutely right, and don't forget about this thing. Maybe if it's relative, but sometimes you don't have to comment on everything. Sometimes you just look at people and be like, this person is not on my team. Somebody on your team you shouldn't be arguing with. Somebody is on your team, FBA, ADOS, B1. You shouldn't be arguing with each other. You Black or you're not. Don't matter who you follow, because if you are intelligent and wise, you can get a piece of meat from everybody and learn something. And that should be our agenda, our goal in this hour, to learn from people who have wisdom, who can see things, who know what time it is, and who can share with the masses. Because we know a lot of times people don't have time to get into all the legislation and the whole system of white supremacy and the policies and different things. There's people like us love that stuff, and we'll break it down and give it to you. But we also, understand there are going to be some people pissed off about it. When we do that, you have to be prepared for the pushback. So during this season of sacrifice, you should be committed to learning more about history, learning more about the Reconstruction era and the end of it. Go back and read about the Confederacy and what happened before, during, and after. Study Jim Crow, because a lot of us, we live in the South, we never stopped living Jim Crow. In the 90s, I think it was, 17, 18 years old, I was working at a restaurant in South Carolina that didn't allow Black people to serve because white people didn't want to have Black people serving them. That was in the 80s in the South. So there are places in the South that are still like that. And, folks want to act like, especially people who don't live in the South, they live around in the DMV, the DC, Maryland, Virginia area up north. They tend to act like, they don't experience the kind of racism we experience. They experience, the same thing. But, just because the political language is different, or because, it's whatever, they don't have to deal with the issues that we have to deal with. Things are different. Nothing is different in America. America has not changed. White people have not changed in almost 500 years. And so what we need to understand is that nothing changes. So if nothing is changing and we keep going along with things that white supremacy, the system of white supremacy dishes out, then we are co-conspirators. We agree with it. We are okay with it. We're okay with our abuse. We're okay with our neglect. We have to come to a point where we say enough is enough. And Black people are saying that now. And even our own people are like, what the hell? Y'all crazy. I don't understand. This has happened. I can't for the life of me understand how anybody defend Joe Biden. Joe Biden is indefensible. I mean, but if you don't see what I see, that's fine. I respect that. But don't try to convince me that I need to see your way, because I'm not. I can read. I understand what's happening. And a lot of times I have a perspective from the inside, because I deal with federal money. I deal with a lot of grant funds. And so I see where the money is going. I see who's getting the money. I see what's happening. And I see we are cut out of everything. So when I speak to you about some things, sometimes I can't tell you what I know, but I know some stuff. And I know that, what's happening now is not fair. And we're going to fix it. And we're going to fix it by speaking out. We're going to stand up for ourselves. We're going to defend ourselves. And we are going to, learn over the next 2-3 years how the system really works. And I'm going to show you some stuff that I want you to use from now on, when it comes to following money, following people, understanding the political system, and how, politics is a business, period. It's not about feelings. It's not about voting for a winner or loser. Black people, you can't win in this system because the system was set up to not let you win. So anybody trying to convince you that you need to do this because there's some doom and gloom happening. I've been living in the South for almost 50 years, and guess what? Ain't shit hardly changed here. Same racist white men was running it during the Confederacy. Their ancestors and descendants still here today doing the same thing. They still have counties named after racists. We still looking at, racist statues. They're still doing the same old thing. So to act like white supremacy hasn't evolved and we don't understand that, it's like disingenuous. So I just need Black people that rock with me understand I'm Black first. For my Black people, I got Black sons, so I'm wholeheartedly down for Black men. I'm for the Black LGBTQIA plus whatever letters that come after that. If you Black first, if you something else first, power to you. But I'm not rocking with you. I'm not advocating for you. I'm Black first. And what Black people are getting ready to find out over the next 3 years is that we are all we have, and nobody is going to protect us. Nobody is going to save us. No, you can beg and say, hey, I should be recognized. That only works for white people and grandfather people. It don't work for us. We've always had to fight for everything that we've received in this country, and it is going to continue because that's just the nature of this beast. So when you see things happening and you see it and you understand it, don't allow other people to make you question yourself, because we some of us have been around the block a while. We know what is happening, and we're telling you about it because we need to come together in order to combat this. And if we do not, probably within the next 10-20 years, we'll be extinct, or in the very least, we probably could be back enslaved. So, and enslaved could mean a lot of different things with white supremacy. But when you're ruled by a minority, a cruel minority, anything can happen. So, you just need to be aware. While you fight, you need to be aware. While you're fighting, and even if you have wins, you need to understand that you are fighting people who are hell-bent on making sure we are America's life insurance policy. And understand that. Black people are America's life insurance policy. We keep this country going. They need to exploit us. They need to subjugate us. They need to kill us. Everything they do to us, they profit from. So yes, when you push back and you're like, I don't want this shit anymore. Oh, the system is getting ready to be pissed. And you're going to see some things and you're going to hear some things and you're just going to be shocked. But, power sees nothing without a fight. And we are going to, have to fight. And again, I'm not talking about anything violently, but you have to strategically win at this game of white supremacy. It's just like playing chess. And, we can't play Uno and they playing chess. You can't be jump roping and playing chess and they playing chess. You can't be looking up in the bushes and in the trees, looking around crazy, and they playing chess. So, we have to get ourselves together, and I expect us to be able to do that. It's not that difficult. But what you got to do is understand that we don't have any allies, we don't have any friends. The system is looking for us to save America, and ain't nobody saving us. So, with that said, that speaks volumes about how this system cares about us. We just are workhorses. And so if we continue to work for free and don't ask for anything and don't get anything in return, they'll keep using you. Trust me. They'll keep using you. They're not going to keep using me, though, because I'm checking out. So, thank you for watching the video. Make sure you hit the like button, share the video with others. And I'm going to be doing videos at least twice per week, but I'm going to be doing my videos on current events. I'm trying not to do anything that I've seen other people done, that other people have done. And I want to, teach people how to follow the money, because that's what I do, so I can figure out, why is this message coming to us? Who's behind it? And most times, if it's a divisive message or a divisive group or somebody co-op or something, it's always tied to politics. It's always tied to keeping us divided or ignorant or misled so that we don't get anything. And we've been falling for that for so long as a collective, that now that you're not, they have to pull out new plays and they have to do new things. So, I'm going to be keeping you on your toes and telling you what time it is. But I'm not going to put everything on Twitter because I'm just not. So follow me. Make sure you follow me on Twitter because I will share those videos. But I'm not on a lot of social media platforms just because it's too much for me to keep up with and do my real job. And I just don't like all the social media stuff. I like Twitter. Twitter is my preferred social media platform, but I'm gonna step up my video game because I realize a lot of people don't read what I write, and I have some really important stuff that I talk about, but it doesn't do any good if you don't read it. So I want people to read more, get books, read. Get Bitcoin in Black America. We need to find a way to bank and do business in the event that something happens with the economy and it collapses. Black people, we don't have nothing. We don't have nothing. So we have to be proactive on things like that. Powernomics, Dr. Carl Anderson's book. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. The wheel has already been invented, and the wheel maker is pissed because we have not used it, and we will not be in this position had we listened to him decades ago. So if you have not purchased Powernomics by Dr. Carl Anderson, I recommend you getting it. And purchase all of his books. He is like a genius when it comes to talking about policy and legislation and politics, the politics of business and what's good and what's bad for us. Like, he knows it inside out. I just love listening to him. But his books are really important, and they're really educational for Black people in this hour. You can't just vote. You have to. Politics is so much more than voting. And you have to have money so that you can accrue power. And if you don't have no money, you don't have no power. And that's just the system that we live in. So we have to work on building our wealth and investing in ourselves so that we can have power. And we haven't been good at that. So that's, one of the reasons why I'm also doing this, is so that I can tell you about what is out there that other people are getting and that we are not, because we are not organized. We expect the people to just drop stuff in our laps. We don't have proper vehicles to do things. So we're gonna talk about that. And the last book I want to tell you about is Dr. Neely Fuller's, no, sorry, not Dr., but Neely Fuller Jr.'s book on code. I'm a code fanatic. I love this book. But, a long time ago, my dad taught me to be Black first. And everything he's ever done, he's always focused on being in the community and doing stuff. He had businesses. His businesses were for Black people in Black communities, because he understood. He grew up in a time during Jim Crow where they didn't have stores. When they did go to stores, white people would do stuff to him. He would just tell me all types of stories about how, old white men would pull guns out on little kids, and he didn't go home and tell his mama because he didn't want his mom to go and do something to the people. Just things that, kids shouldn't have to go through. And so he always remembered that. And, he's always been a Black first person, pro-Black. He's 70 now, but he's still independent, don't want to work for anybody. Understands nothing in America has changed, and that if we don't collectively take care of each other, we are going to not be well. We'd be decimated. And so Neely Fuller Jr.'s book is excellent about it, breaking down white supremacy, how it works, and why we need to learn how this system works and your place in it. If you see yourself as somebody free and you can do whatever you want to, see, you're a problem already, because we ain't free. We are essentially hostages in the system of white supremacy, just trying to survive, and we are fighting to get free. So that's our goal. That's all we want. We're not trying to, do anything outside of that. And being Black first allows us to do that, and it keeps us centered and focused on that goal. If you try to look at other stuff, just say other policies, other groups, other things that don't benefit Black people specifically, you are giving away your energy, time, money, resources to something that you're never going to benefit from. But when you figure out that being Black first means you're centering us, you're focusing on us, you're fighting solely for us, and you're building us, then you get why it's important, and you see the lack, and you also find out who likes the easy road, because this road is not easy. You're not gonna get rich doing this. You might be able to survive, but you don't get rich doing this. And it's a sacrifice, which is why I call it the season of sacrifice. And before I go, I will say this. I need Black people to invest in Black people, period. If you enjoy new Black media, you need to support new Black media. If you enjoy particular creatives who create things and content and information that is helpful for you, you need to subscribe or sew into it, because we are sacrificing, our lives and our time to try to help people understand what is happening and to survive it and thrive after we survive it. And a lot of times, our people will invest in things that will not bring us anything. You will invest in purses and concerts and clothes and gossip and trash TV and restaurants that don't give us anything. We need to be intentional about what we support in this hour. And if you stop watching things that don't build us up, if you stop supporting people that don't build us up, if you start blocking people on social media who don't lift us up, who do slander to Black people, like, we have to be really on code about this, because one of the things that white supremacy knows is that, like, we have a time frame or a tolerance level for sacrifice, and then after a little while we go back to the same old routine. And I'll give you a prime example. That is with with the National Football League and Colin Kaepernick. When y'all call for boycotts, sister loved football. My sons play football since Pop Warner. I was down with the football. Even when they left and went off to college and wasn't playing football, still watched football, Saturday and Sunday, Monday and Thursday, just watching sports. As soon as Kaepernick got it, to the road with the NFL, I boycotted football. I haven't watched football games since the boycott. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. And I'm not supporting an organization that is knowingly racist and discriminates against Black people. But a lot of us forgot. So we back, in bars, watching TV on Sunday in the white establishments, eating chicken wings, drinking beer, having a good time. You got the NFL network on your TV, you're paying for it. You're going back to buying jerseys. Y'all are supporting white supremacy. And so, you know what Roger Goodell said? Those Negroes gonna get tired for a little while, but they'll come back. We're gonna go get old Jay-Z, soul fool ass, and bring him over here and let him play the flute, and they're gonna come following him back, and we're gonna get some rap music and some Black artists, and they'll come back because they just love tokens and shiny things and symbolism. And y'all went back. I have not been back. I don't go to none of that stuff. I don't patronize anything. I don't even pay attention to it. As far as I'm concerned, the NFL does not even exist. But I'm different. So I need y'all to really understand, when we talk about sacrifice, you have to trace the footprints of white supremacy and do some sacrificing. And it's not a popular message, but it's something that we have to do in order to show that we are serious about opposing this system. And it's about money at the end of the day. If you don't have no money, you don't have power. We have a little bit of money because we consume a lot in this country. We stop consuming, if we stop watching, if we stop liking, if we stop paying attention, they'll get the message. So I'm getting ready to check out. You all have a wonderful day. I will check in with you later this week. Don't forget to like and share this message and be on code. If you're on code, don't jump time. Don't cross the fence. You're here with us or you're not. So enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for watching.